everyone, it's Allison. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be making a really fun shaker card featuring products from the Waffle Flower Sweet Gathering release. This just came out last week. I actually showed a sneak peek of this card last week. And I'm also going to show you how I colored the glitter that I used for the shaker bits in this card. So we are going to start with the Postage Collage Mini Slimline Blocks die. And I have cut this 3 times and glued them together. And I also have a piece of white cardstock that's just slightly smaller than this die. This will be the back of the shaker. Now I want each of these blocks to be a different color. And there is a mini slimline block stencil that would have made my life a lot easier here, but I don't have that stencil. So I'm just making marks with my pencil where these blocks are. And I'm going to include a link to that stencil below because, like I said, it makes it a lot easier. There's actually a similar stencil for all the sizes of the Postage Collage series. But here I'm just using my T-square ruler to connect these lines and, to form these blocks again. And I'll double check at the end that I did this correctly. And if I did, then the die will cover up all of my pencil lines. So here you can see that, well, in a second you'll see that you can't see the pencil lines. So my blocks are ready to color. Now I am going to use the Masking Corners stencil. This came out several months ago and I have been using this a lot. And so I'm just going to block off each block with these stencils. And I'm going to use Distress inks today in some of my favorite colors. This is Mustard Seed. And between each color, I am going to clean these stencils because I don't want to mix, the yellow ink with the pink ink and whatever. I'm coming in with Twisted Citron. Now, I am going to come in with Mowed Lawn after this. You'll see in a second. And that's because I'm trying to match the color of the glitter that I'm going to use. And I'll show that glitter in a bit. But that's why I'm kind of starting off with light colors first. And then I can come in with a darker color if I feel like I need it. So here I started with Kitsch Flamingo. And I'm going to come in with some picked raspberry after this. Now, obviously, if you don't have these masking stencils, you can use masking tape or however you mask things. And I am using my 7.5 by 11 grip mat for doing this. Now, my blue colors, I'm using Salvaged Patina and just actually sticking with the Salvage Patina, but making it a little bit darker. And here is my final color, and this is Dried Marigold. All right, so I am done with my color blocking. And we're gonna pull off the stencil masks and see what we have. And I'm loving how this looks. All right, now I'm going to glue this stack of die cuts on top of the panel. Remember, there are 3 of these stacked together. And this is going to create the little wells that I can then put the glitter in. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get my double-sided tape on here. This is Scor-Tape. And then it will just be ready to go for when I'm ready to close things up after adding the glitter. And here I'm just using my bone folder to press down on this tape and make sure it's nice and secure. All right, now here is the overlapping vertical happy word. This is part of the new release. And I have cut it from white cardstock twice. And you saw in my card last week where I just overlapped 2 colors with a word die like this. I used the thanks in the card last week. But here I am snipping apart the letters. And I've done this before, I think, with the Mary die from a few months ago. But these letters are connected by little, like 2 little tabs. And they're really easy to snip apart. So here I'm just coloring each letter with the similar colors that I ink blended onto that panel. I think it'd be really cute if you cut each letter out with like a different pattern paper. Maybe you have different colored polka dot paper. That would be really cute. Or you could add polka dots yourself to these letters. I could have come in here with, a gel pen or even a stencil. All right, now, again, some of these letters I'm coming in with a second color. Now, let's talk about what we're putting in this shaker card. This is glitter that I have previously colored. We're going to use all of these except for that red color on the left. These glass vials, they're really cool. Unfortunately, I don't have any more of them. I got these at an art reuse center where I often donate old supplies. And someone must have donated like 100 of these vials. Well, I only bought these, the ones you see, because I didn't really know at the time what I was going to use them for. And of course, now I'm kicking myself for not buying more. And I did go back to get more, and they were already gone. So live and learn. If you see things like this, grab them while you can. So I am going to find some different containers to use for coloring more glitter, because I am going to show you how I colored these glitters. And I think I probably showed how I colored this glitter in a past video, but we're going to do it again. So here's the glitter that we're using today. This is the Distress Rock Candy glitter. And here's this new chunky glitter that I have. I just recently bought this. And this is what I'm going to color today. I'm not using it in today's shaker card, but I wanted to color this. Now I have these little plastic containers that I got years ago from the party store. These come with little plastic lids. And this is what I like to use to color my glitter. So I'm pouring the glitter in this cup. And here I just wanted to show you the difference. On the left is the chunky glitter, and on the right is the regular rock candy glitter, which is, again, what I'm using in my card today. Now to color my glitter, I'm using alcohol ink, and I wanted a blue color. So I'm looking at all my blues, and of course I go back to the original one that I pulled. This is Pool. And I'm just going to put 2 drops of ink in here. Now, if I put more, it would obviously color this glitter a little bit darker. I'm using a plastic fork just because I don't ever use plastic forks. I happen to have one, probably from some takeout. And I mixed this glitter for a little over a minute to make sure it was all evenly, mixed in. And now I'm just spreading it across a paper towel to make sure it's all dry. This really didn't take too long to dry. In fact, I think it dries a lot faster than the regular glitter. Now, I told you I had to find some containers. These are small jars that my Pink Fresh Studio Gems came in. And I have transferred a lot of my gems and embellishments into these larger containers that I got from the Container Store. So I'm emptying all these little containers so that I can use these jars for my glitter. Now I'm going to link to an almost identical set of little jars that Simon Says Stamp sells. I think it's actually what Tim Holtz uses for his glitter now. And now I totally lucked out that the amount of glitter that I made fit into this little jar. If I had thought about it beforehand, I would have put the clear glitter in the jar first so that I knew how much glitter I should color. Hopefully I'll remember to do that next time. But my memory lately is like mush. All right, so there's my little container, and I will use that on a future project. But for now, like I said, we're going to be using the glitter that I had previously colored. So you'll see me put each color in, And one thing I really like about these vials is that it was easy to just pour it into even that little area with the orange. So probably going forward, I'll have to get a little spoon or something. All right, so here's my final color. And now I can pull this release tape off because it's time to seal this up and make sure this glitter does not escape. And I have cut a piece of acetate the size of this panel. And I'm going to carefully, very carefully lay this on here so that I get it all lined up. And again, I will take my bone folder and make sure this is nice and secure. Now here it is in action. None of that glitter is going to escape. I don't use glitter in my shaker cards a lot unless it's shakers like this where each section is, there's no escape route, and I'm not using foam tape. There's no way for this glitter to come out of here. All right, I did decide I didn't like my yellow that I used on the Y, so I'm coming in with scattered straw. And now we're done, and we can go ahead and glue these letters onto the white happy that I had originally cut out. And for the final card, I did actually stack this on top of another one. So they were basically 3 letters high, 3 layers high. All right, so there's my happy, and I love how it lines up with the panel. I think it's really cute. And now it's time to add a panel on top of the acetate. So again, I put more double-sided tape, and I'm actually going over the tape with glue. And that's just to give me some wiggle room in case I come in with a bad landing and I need to shift this around, but I did a pretty good job of lining things up. And there we go. And now it's all clean and pretty on the front. All right, now here is the card. I used the new Cozy Icons die, part of the new release, for the leaves and the butterflies on this card. And I used the same Distress ink colors to ink those up as I did on the rest of the card. And the happy birthday is from my stash of Waffle Flower sub-sentiments. Those are just ready to go sentiments, really easy to pull apart and just slap on a card without having to stamp something. And that is that. I love how this card turned out. It's just a really happy, well, it says happy, and it is happy. It's a happy card. And it's just a really easy shaker to make, especially with this die. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing how to color your own glitter. And I appreciate having you here. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.